Welcome to the Middle-Raged Podcast, where your hosts, Adam and Keith, get a bit cross about stuff that really doesn't matter. Bless them. Oh, and we should probably warn you that things can be a bit sweary at times.
Hello and welcome to episode 13, lucky for some, of the Middle-Raged Podcast with me, Adam Eccles, and my co-host, Keith A. Pearson. Hello.
Hello, and a very good evening to you.
Indeed. I believe I have to apologise because I forgot to send you my International Happy Keith Day card.
Again, do you know what?
Every year.
Not a single soul has remembered. That's not true, actually. The lovely Sue sent her message on Twitter, X, but apart from that, not a thing.
That's a bit tough.
There are probably Keiths around the UK now enjoying a slap-up dinner and maybe some light celebrations, but no, not in the Pearson household.
That's
nothing.
A bit harsh, isn't it?
Not a thing. Not even a card from my co-host.
Well,
there isn't an Adam's Day, is there? Is it jealousy?
What? I forgot. I didn't even know, in fact. And what is the nature of this day and what are we celebrating?
I have absolutely no idea whatsoever. Why, how it came to be, what you're supposed to do.
Right.
It's just. I think basically it's just an opportunity to tag everyone called Keith that you might know on social media. That seems to be about it, because I've had quite a few this afternoon.
Fair enough. You remember that? Yeah, I suppose you probably do, don't you? Do you remember the Spitting Image song of the 80s?
Yes. Oh my God, I was in
Chicken Song or something, wasn't it?
Yes. Stick a deck chair up your nose and pretend your name is Keith.
There you go.
Yeah, God, that was really great at school, I can tell you.
Yeah, I bet that was absolutely brilliant.
Oh, honestly, the amount of people that said it as though they'd said it for the first time.
But you never heard that.
Oh, I laughed. While we're on the subject of names,
yes.
We've had a bit of feedback from the conversation from episode 12, and this was regarding my daughter and I's Facebook Hall of Fame for people with amusing names.
Wonderful names, yes.
And I think that we have a new entry, possibly, I would say, almost a leader, straight in at number one.
Straight in at number one, right.
And that name is... Okay, and I've got to try and say it without chuckling. Okay. This is a genuine name. This is a real person on Facebook. So if you want to go and look them up, don't tell them that we sent you, but go find Tess Tickle.
Wow. Is she a Little Miss character?
No, I'm going to guess, going on her profile photo, she's probably approaching retirement age.
Okay. Hang on. Is Tickle?
Tickle's a surname, yeah.
Spelt the traditional way, yeah? Not
Tickle, yeah. Tickle.
No Y's or something.
What is more puzzling, though, isn't Tess short for something else, like Teresa or Tessa? Or if your surname was Tickle, why would you, and your first name was Tessa? Why would you change?
Well,
why would you go by Tess?
Maybe
I'm
she
Testicle.
was already Tess, and maybe she married Mr. Tickle. You know the guy.
And now she's a testicle. Sorry. Oh God,
boy. Okay, I mean. That is, I don't know what to say.
I don't think there's anything you say, but dear listeners, if you think you can beat Testicle, but they have to be Anglo-Saxon names. That's the only rule, because Adam tried to get a wang in there, and I won't repeat some of the others that he put forward. What was the other one? Sorry.
No, let's not go there.
Probably best not to. So yes, please let us know.
Indeed. I don't know if that's Anyway, okay.
We've started something now, so I think we've got to carry it through.
Indeed.
What else have we had from the last episode?
So follow up. This is about Kit Kats. We were talking about the proliferation of ridiculousness in the world of Kit Kats and other confectionery. Are they confectionery? Snacks, biscuits.
They're in the confectionery aisle. I'll allow it.
Yeah. So apparently, according to our man on the front there in the USA, Gabe Sasso, Command Gabe, cinnamon toast Kit Kats.
Dirty bastards.
It's just, hang on, like cinnamon toast. I mean,
what makes it? I can get cinnamon. I mean, that's fairly, routine, isn't it? They chuck cinnamon, all sorts of things. Yeah. But white toast? Why was that necessary?
Toast, yeah.
Who eats toast just with nothing on it? That just basically is just toasted bread. I mean, it just tastes of bread.
Oh no, that's only if you're like sick on the couch in the 80s with a bottle of Lucozade, right?
Well, I think what's that horrible virus thing that goes around every now and again? Is it neurovirus or something where you literally you're expelling fluids from both ends or something?
God, oh God.
I think that's
all you can eat then. Mop up the
Oh, dearie me. Okay. I hope nobody's eating while we're doing this. But that's from yesterday. But we had a bigger one, didn't we? We opened, in fact, an international can of worms.
Now, this is
thanks to
beyond comprehension, but thanks to Heather McAuliffe of telling us about the world of Japanese Kit Kats. And I mean, I'm stumped here. Can you elaborate?
I can give you a little bit of extra. Firstly, they're seen as a sort of a token of good luck. Fuck knows why, but that's the Japanese for you. Yeah, Kit Kat. But don't they have KFC? Don't they have KFC for Christmas dinner? Apologies to any Japanese listeners, but that's just a bit weird. But then,
do they even have Christmas?
Yeah, they have Christmas and they have KFC. It's a thing.
Traditional
thing.
Like Dickensian KFC.
Now, the more I heard this, I can't remember who told me a couple of years back, and I thought, and my initial reaction was similar to yours, like, that's mad. But then I thought, actually, do you think how much easier it would be on Christmas Day? Just take the whole family to KFC, cost you, £6 a head or whatever. Yeah. Chuck everything in a box, you're done in 20 minutes.
I suppose, rather than getting up at 4 a.m. and defrosting a turkey and all of that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, a few years ago, I actually made a lasagna for Christmas.
Did you? Was it in any way, shape or form Christmassy? Did you put brandy in it?
No. Just a really nice, hardcore lasagna with all the trimmings. There's the garlic bread and...
all the trimmings. But I tried to do once, because I don't like turkey, so
no, not a big fan.
I tried a beef Wellington, bought a very expensive beef Wellington from the butcher's. This thing was fucking expensive, and nobody liked it except me. So I was eating beef Wellington for 4 days, months, I think. Constipated for a week.
Nice.
I just need some cinnamon toast.
Kit Kats.
Also, over there, it's called Kitto Catto.
Are you taking the piss now?
Do you know what I thought immediately when I said that? I thought, he bet Adam doesn't believe me, but that is genuinely, they call it Kitto Catto. I was going to do the accent, and I thought, no, that's just too much. Yeah, too much.
No.
So over there, it's the Kitto Catto, and it brings good luck, apparently.
Good fortune, okay. You probably have to sort of bow to them or something, do you? The wonder of Kit Kat, I don't know.
I would imagine so. They're probably in an illuminated display case. Lots of bright colours and a little shrine or something. But they have, get this, listeners, over 50 different flavour of Kit Kats.
And
what's your favourite that was on the list?
Oh, it's probably got to be the sweet potato.
Oh.
Fuck fucking potato in a Kit Kat. I mean, yeah, okay, sweet potato is slightly different to just the chips.
Do you think they just run out of ideas?
Yeah, I mean,
we just lob that in.
how a lot of these flavors seem to be variations on the theme, and they got this thing called matcha. I'm not really sure what that is. I'm sure normal people know what that is, right?
I don't.
Yeah,
but I'm then again, I'm not normal either. So
yeah. Well, there's a pistachio. I mean, I'd try the pistachio, but like, what is all this shit? Like, sweet potato is not a Kit Kat. Come on.
But then there's wasabi.
Oh,
which I thought, and again, I may be wrong. Isn't that slightly salty sauce?
Do you know what? Do you know horseradish?
Oh yeah.
It is a hardcore version of horseradish. Let's say that, but like, it goes on sushi. But it's really, I don't know what the word is, but it's mustardy, horseradishy, really powerful shit, basically.
Can I just do a quick sidebar here? A couple of weeks ago, I stumbled upon a video on YouTube and you can just go onto YouTube and search this. It's Americans trying Marmite for the first time. Do yourself a favour. Oh, the laughs. Once you've listened to this episode, clearly.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. We talked about this before. I'm sure we have. I like Marmite.
I like Marmite, yeah. But Americans, well, certainly the American in this particular video, I think it was a couple. He was English, and there was an American girlfriend.
Right.
But what was worrying about it is the first time that she tried it, she sort of licked it off a spoon.
Oh no.
Yeah, and of course she immediately recoiled. I think I would too.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean,
no.
No one's eating naked Marmite. Even a hardcore Marmite fan would balk at that idea.
Where's the toast? I mean, God.
Yeah. So he then gave her it on toast, and she said that was slightly less vomit-inducing. So I suppose the question is then, do you think the Japanese will go down that particular route and come up with the Marmite-flavoured Kit Kat?
Yes.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. And I know the Japanese, they did do some terrible things during the war, but wasabi and sweet potato is a new low for any nation.
It's was it the UN should step in there?
You would think so, yeah.
Do you remember there was something called Twiglets?
We have Twiglets. Yeah, I love Twiglets.
Yeah.
Well, I say that I love them in December.
Yes,
but normally there's always loads left, so you're still eating them in March and by that point you're like, I could probably do with 6 months off.
Yeah, but they're Marmite, aren't they? Are they?
Yeah,
little sticks, but they're Marmite flavour.
Yes,
crunchy things. I don't know what. They're not crisps, but they're not pretzels.
Yeah, they're hard to. They are literally like a twig.
Yeah,
I suppose when you think about it.
So they went to the forest. They swept up,
yeah,
and then they put Marmite on it, and there you go.
Bob's your uncle, yeah.
Nice.
But no, they're a staple, a Christmas staple in the Pearson hawkhold.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I haven't even had my first mince pie of the season yet.
Well, it is November.
I know, but Guy Fawkes Night has come and gone, and therefore, the first mince pie should have. Yeah, it is open season because you like to try variety as the weeks go by.
Right.
But no, not a single one yet. But I intend to rectify that this weekend.
Fair
that would
enough.
be a highlight for me.
There you go, good man. All right, one small follow-up point as well. All right, this is about washing machines, and I only learnt this today, and I forgot to mention it. But I was lamenting. Either last time or the couple, I can't remember now. Time is an illusion, right? At some point, I was lamenting about how washing machines lie to you. And I just wanted my washing machine to text me when it was done. Stop pissing around with the bollock lies, right? Just text me. And today I learned that such a device already exists.
Yeah, I'm fairly, yeah.
Wow. So my colleague at work sent me a photo. His washing machine texted him, it's just finished, and you can go and take the washing up. Brilliant. So
that's what we need. I noticed something else on this same subject. I don't know if this is commonplace, but in America, the top loader is the washing machine of choice.
Top loader, yeah.
I don't know if this is unconfirmed speculation on my part.
Right, yeah, I think you might be right there. That's Dancing in the Moonlight by Top Loader. Is it?
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, we were talking about that as well. Yeah.
Sorry, we've gone. We stressed on this that we were going to try and stick to a tight timeline, and we failed spectacularly.
All right, well then, moving swiftly on. I've got a thing to play. Shall I play the thing?
Go on, play the thing.
Right. Hey there, listeners. If you're enjoying the podcast and want to help keep it going, consider supporting us with a small donation on buymeacoffee.com/middle-aged. Every donation helps us to give you more of the content you love and keeps us from venting our rage on social media. Plus, you'll get a light roasting on the show if you fancy it. We couldn't do it without you, so thanks for listening and spreading the word. There you go. Do you like that?
That's good. It saves us having to say it every episode.
Exactly right.
And at least now people know exactly how long that section is, so they can fast forward it.
Right, I think it's
future episodes. So
30 seconds, just about 30 seconds. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I don't know about your pod player, but I think mine is a 30-second fast forward.
Yes,
so you did well there to make sure that that's an option for people.
There you go. Once you have subscribed or donated or whatever, then you can fast forward that bit in future. But,
the rest of you've got to listen to it. Yeah. So we're watching.
That's right.
I guess we should probably say that somebody actually didn't fast forward the advert that didn't exist until this very minute.
Yes, indeed. So
I know you notice how I dropped out then.
I know. So look, we're gonna. We do a lot of apologising in this show, and I think we're going to just preemptively apologise because, honestly, there is no way that we are going to be able to pronounce this name correctly.
Mate, we couldn't even pronounce Evelyn. Oh my God, we couldn't even pronounce Evelyn right. So
we got no chance, right? So sorry to Pearson, who we're going to butcher your name, but When you hear it, you'll probably understand, right? So it's thank you to Bayruk Alparslan. I hope that's vaguely, approximately what your name is.
I think that sounds good. I'm going to have a go myself. So Bayruk Alparslan.
Yeah,
that sounds right. Actually. I think if we say it with enough conviction, listeners might actually think that we do know what we're talking about.
Yeah. But unfortunately, we don't. But anyway, thank you to that person that we just said.
You can avoid saying Bayruk's name now.
Bayruk.
But I think the Bayruk bit, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Alparslan.
It's quite tough. I'm sure that you don't. In what do you call it? What's that? Starbucks. When they ask you, they're never spelling that correctly, are they? Never.
No, they're not.
Not a hope. Anyway, right. So,
I thought it actually. If you look at Bayruk, how it's spelled, it looked like a weird domain name from the late 90s, like BUYRUK. Like these weird domains websites that popped up. Yes. Buyurk.com.
Oh yeah. .uk. Alparslan. Okay. Anyway.
.com.
Right.
I haven't gone down that route, but so yes, 2 coffees I think Bayruk purchased for us. So
nice one.
Thank you very much, sir, and also an avid reader of our books. So
good man.
It's thank you very much, sir, for stepping up to the breach, and accordingly, we need to discuss who we've what character we have given a name that we can't pronounce.
Yes.
Can you imagine if you did this, right? And your narrator would be pissed when they got to do the audiobook, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
They would be so angry. And I do think about that now. When I give characters names, I avoid giving them, particularly if it's a character that crops up a lot. Anything, a name with 3 syllables or more, change it.
Mouthful, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You don't want anything. Yeah. So unfortunately, Baruch, you will not be appearing in an actual book. No, actually, Baruch could be okay for the Christian name, but
Yeah, just change the second name for something.
yeah, the narrators
Smith.
would quit.
Smith
So
Jones.
Baruch Alparslan in my particular novel is the name of a human-looking cyborg.
Oh, wow.
Sent from the future to terminate a number of prominent activists who are trying to raise concerns about the development of AI. This is in no way stolen from a 1991 film starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, not in the slightest.
Okay, good.
So, Baruch Alparslan arrives in 2024, and on his very first day, he's searching the town. Not sure what town this would be. Say Slough. Don't know. Could be as
Swindon,
good as any. Driving around, and he's consulting a map on his phone, and he gets pulled over by a police officer.
Right.
Things then sort of escalate,
Yeah,
and
as they would,
the police officer pulls out a taser and shoots Baruch. Now, clearly he's not human, so this completely fries his CPU.
Oh.
I don't know if it's Intel or AMD, and I suppose that's not really important. But anyway,
It's for the warranty.
Yeah, this is true. So now, obviously, with his fried CPU, it corrupts all of Baruch's core programming.
Right,
So he no longer knows why that he's a cyborg, for starters.
Oh, shit. Right.
But he also doesn't know what his mission is. So he's completely confused, and he just happens to wander into the nearest store, which happens to be a branch of Burger King. And he approaches an official-looking guy behind the counter and asks if he can help establish his mission. Turns out that person is the manager of the branch, and he assumes that Baruch is after a job and offers him a part-time position.
Okay.
And if we fast forward 1 year, Baruch Alparslan is the deputy manager of Basingstoke Burger King.
Excellent.
And he's enjoying a full and meaningful relationship with an upright Dyson he calls Deborah.
Well,
There we go.
That went a direction I was not expecting. Excellent.
Right, follow that.
Okay. Oh, dear. Right. Well, I think Baruch Alparslan is an international.
Rolling off the tongue now. Sorry,
we're flooding the place here now. With he's international conflict photographer for magazines like National Geographic and or Time magazine. They send out photographers all over the world, and so he's traveled the world. This is this was happening probably in the 80s, 90s, 2000s. And this is his biography, right? So that's what the book he's in. And he's traveled the world armed with nothing more than a roll of film and a Leica camera and a 200mm zoom lens. He's the 3 times Pulitzer Prize winner for his work in the Falklands and Afghanistan, of all places.
Wow.
Right? So, I mean, he's really out there. He's got some great shots. But amongst his highlights in this autobiography, he's been in some situations, right? So he was once bribed with a harem for 40 days and 40 nights.
Did he accept this bribe?
Oh, of course he did, yeah. And he came out of it 3 stone lighter.
Mainly lost from the testicle region, I'd imagine.
There you go. He's been a prisoner in Afghanistan, and he only survived that by trading naughty photos with the guards, right? Because he's a photographer.
Wow.
Right?
Oh, of course, yeah.
He was undercover in North Korea and is disguised as a street food vendor. Had some wonderful experiences there. And in Baghdad, one time, he was made to do the dance of the Seven Veils in a secret underground bar.
Wow.
Yeah.
What, wearing the full sort of...
Oh, yeah, all the full get up and the
Wow.
taking it off, all that stuff. But the highlight of his career, I think, was when he was escaping in Kuwait during whenever that crisis was. And him and two others escaped by dressing up as a pantomime camel. And he got the hump. He was the humps.
Oh, God.
And so this is his autobiography, and I thought it would be called The Dark Room, Out of Focus. There you go.
I'm fine. You did go very in-depth with that.
Yes. Well, to get the...
I think it was certainly less offensive than mine. I think out of the two, I think Byron would choose your character over mine.
Yeah, I mean, it's, especially the highlights there, that who wouldn't want to be bribed in a hurry?
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a way to go, isn't it?
Yeah. Keep you busy for a while.
How long was he in there for, did you say?
40 days and 40 nights. I feel like that's the traditional length of time that things happen in those places.
Did we get as far as establishing how many women were in this? We're assuming it's women. I mean, God, imagine if it wasn't.
I think that...
Do you want to come to a Harari for 40 days and 40 nights? Yes. And then it's
blokes.
just like 40 builders or something.
I assumed, maybe incorrectly, that the nature of a harem meant that it was women, but
Could
maybe
be. Well, it's 2024, mate.
Yeah,
Assume nothing.
Yes, you never know. But yeah, I mean, you got to think there's at least a dozen women in there.
Okay, so you get to go, you get to go around.
Yeah, around the house.
And probably you could go around 3 times and have a day off.
There you go.
Day or 2 off. I suspect you possibly need that.
You might need it. Yes.
And that's assuming you're going once a day, really. I mean, what do you do with the other 24 hours and 58 minutes? 24 hours, 23 hours and 58 minutes.
Well, he's probably watching the telly.
Yeah.
Why not? Or developing the pictures.
Excellent.
Anyway, right. One other thing we'll just mention quickly. We made a promo video, which is more of an audio video, whatever. If you happen to see it on your socials, give it a share, because we're trying to build up the it's not readership, listenership. There you go. Build up listenership, and we feel that if you're into this sort of fun stuff, you should tell your friends. So if you happen to see that video, give it a share. Cheers. So, on to the main reason we're here. What's your rage point, Keith?
So I had an original rage point in mind, but then I actually did get properly enraged about something, and I thought, well, we've got to stick to our true principles. Mm-hmm. And this one does skirt, and we've always said right from the very offset that we don't want to get into the sort of political or social weeds of any subject.
God, no.
But this one probably just sort of skirts the periphery of that type of stuff. But I will try and stay the right side, and it was primarily because my rage point is frugality, or the dying art of frugality.
Right.
And this was triggered by an announcement I saw, or by a government announcement that landed on Twitter or X or something, that they are setting up a new department. This is the new government here in the UK, the Office for Value for Money.
What?
I mean, it sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? It does sound like something from a sketch show from the 90s. The Office for Value for Money.
What the are you serious?
I know. It seems comical, doesn't it? It does sound like something from Monty Python. But no, it is a real thing, and they've got some guy on board. I can't remember his name, but they're paying him £250,000 a year to front this office. The irony, I mean, honestly, the absolute irony of it is breathtaking.
Wow. I mean, yes, you're skirting into the ineptitude of governments. It's definitely right, but wow.
Here's the thing, right? Firstly, I kind of assumed that the first remit of every single government department, from the cabinet office all the way down to sort of local government and parish councils, I would have thought the first remit would be to get maximum value for money when it's taxpayers' money you're spending.
Yes,
I would have thought that's the very, very top of the list, that you put at the prism through. You make every decision.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not, though. Clearly, it can't be. Otherwise, you would not need an office for value for money. So it does beg the question: what the fuck is going on then? If you actually have to have an entire department head, God knows what else this new office will need. Stationery, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And a salary of £250,000.
Don't they?
So,
okay.
Now, why this particularly pisses me off is, and this is not party political, because you can go back for probably a good 2, 3, 4 decades, and there has been a growing trend amongst the state to just spend more and more and more and more money without anything actually ever seeming to get any better, which suggests that a vast amount of the money is being wasted. Because if it wasn't being wasted, you would definitely see an improvement. And say something like the National Health is a great example, isn't it?
Right.
You throw more and more and more and more money into that thing, and yet the current situation with the NHS is just buggered. It's hard to get doctor's appointment and waiting lists and everything else. So it's not money. So you've got to question, well, okay, what's happening when the money goes in and then it gets to the end user?
Yeah.
Clearly something's not right. And what frustrates me, apart from this frog in my throat, is that we were the nation who coined the phrase make, do, and mend.
Right, yes.
So post-war, and obviously during the war, the British were renowned for firstly, when we made something, right, when something was manufactured, it was built to last.
That's right, yeah.
Trigger's broom, for example. So you bought a radio. That radio would sit on a shelf for decades, wouldn't it? I mean, it would just go on and on and on. Now you buy something, a bit of electronics for 20 quid and you lob that was made in China, and you lob it in a bin if, it's slightly discoloured or something.
Yes.
Clothes, again, you would buy a suit, and that suit, unless you put on or lost vast amounts of weight, that suit would be, probably be the one that you were married in, would probably be the one you were buried in.
And everything.
Assuming there is some period of time between those two events.
Hopefully, yeah. Do you know, on the subject of electronics, right? So here, I'm not sure if this is the case in the UK, but here when you buy something, there is already a tax on it that's the recycling fee. So it's like they already know that you're going to be throwing this in the bin, and you literally haven't even bought it yet.
Well, we have VAT, and
it's on top of that.
On top of so like just another tax.
Right. So it's always like the €5 is included in or something for the for recycling. But when you do take your broken fridge to the tip, then it's free to recycle because you've already paid for that, right? But yeah, it's always sort of struck me that I'm just buying this fucking thing and you're telling me that it's going to fall apart. Like, come on.
This is the problem, though, isn't it? And this extends to beyond government departments wasting money. It's just this whole sort of ecosystem we have now of throwaway consumerism.
Yes.
And individually, we are perhaps all guilty of let me just give you a bit of backstory here. So when I growing up, I mean, my family, I know you've heard this many times, so you can put your violin away. So we were fairly poor, right? We didn't own a car, and there were 6 of us, myself, 3 brothers, parents, living in this sort of boxy little council house, no garden. And yet, and my dad was like a furniture porter, and mum worked in a cafe part-time. So we did not have much money. And to this day, I have never, ever understood how the hell my mum managed to feed and clothe 6 people on the amount of money that was coming into that house. Because it wasn't very much money. So she must have actually, in fact, just a quick anecdote here. So this was in 1980, and I remember this so distinctly. I was 9 years of age, and it was the first week of the school summer holidays.
Right.
And a friend of mine, Gary Hockley, was going to the local swimming baths.
Right.
And it was 20p. So it's a good way of wasting a whole day, right? And I said to my mum, can I have 20p?
Right.
And she sort of looked at me apologetically and said, well, no, I can't give you that today, but if you want to go, I can give it to you on Friday.
Right.
I didn't really think much of it. Okay, Friday it is.
Yeah.
And to put it into context, that 20p is worth about £1.15 today.
Right. Yeah.
Now, if you were to ask 100 people, if they got on a train with £1.15 in loose change in their pocket, got off that train, walking to their destination, they realised they'd lost it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many would give a shit?
Yeah. 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 Indeed. Indeed.
No one. And yet that 20 pence was clearly
important,
of significance to my mum, that I couldn't have it till, I don't know what was happening on Friday.
Payday or something, yeah.
Could have been payday. She could have been on the game. Who knows? I'm going to guess not, the latter.
Probably not.
20p, that'd be very poor, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what you'd get for that. God, this is just taking a twist.
God.
So... but now we don't seem to value money at all, or small, or we don't seem to care enough about money, and particularly spending when it comes to it being someone else's money.
Right. Yes. Indeed. Well, yeah. It's more fun to spend somebody else's money, but when you're saying it's the money of everybody, not just particularly somebody, like, for example, like if it's work paying, then I get get the big steak.
Would you say you're frugal?
I can be, but I also spend a huge amount of money on technology.
But is that when you but I bet when you buy something, you don't do it off the cuff. I bet you research it.
Yeah.
If you're looking for something that's a broader product.
Yes.
Okay, that you would do the time, do the research.
Absolutely, yeah.
You would buy something that you particularly need. Would that be fair?
Yeah, usually, yeah. My father always used to say, I'm not a rich man, so I can only afford the best. And there's an anecdote in it's not an anecdote, but it's a sort of storyline in Terry Pratchett's books that I can't remember the name of at the moment, but there's a thing about a rich man will buy a £50 pair of boots, right, and they'll last him for 10 years, and they'll be wonderful, soft, whatever, good, reliable boots, right, but the poor man can't afford those £50 boots, right? So he has to buy a £10 pair of boots, right? But those are so crap that they wear out every year. So over the 10 years, he spent double the amount as the rich man had.
Probably put it on Klarna, buy the £50 ones.
Yeah.
Problem solved. Were they Timberland boots?
Probably. I don't know.
Just as a sidebar on that, what the fuck has happened to Timberland? I know you don't really buy. You buy DMs, don't you?
Not anymore because of feet pain. But hang on, is that the singer just in Timberland, is it?
No. It's a brand of boots. I think they're American.
Oh.
I bought a pair 15 years ago, and I think they lasted me 10 years. They weren't cheap. I mean, they were probably £100 or so.
Yeah.
But I happened to be in a Timberland store back in the summer, and the absolute shite there was on those shelves. Yeah. There was no quality. It's like we've got a name now that people like and know, and now we're just going to stick that name on any old tat.
Yes.
And it's no longer a quality product. It's just an expensive product.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there is no longer any correlation between the amount of money you're paying and the quality of the thing you're buying. You're paying literally for the Timberland logo on the side of your boot.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't mind. And there are certain brands where, particularly clothing wise, that, if you buy that, it's a bit more expensive, but it's going to last. It's a better quality cotton, whatever it may be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's stitched. The buttons are nicer. Everything just feels. It's got a bit of heft to it. You know what I mean? It just feels like it's going to last more than 3 washes.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of stuff that's just, I don't know, a t-shirt. A bog standard 50-cent Chinese t-shirt, or Bangladeshi t-shirt. They whack a logo on, £30.
Yeah, that really pisses me off. Yeah.
Robbing bastards.
Yes.
So, sorry, back to my original rage about the spending of money. So, another quick anecdote, if I may. So, in 2001, I was running my own estate agency.
Oh, yes.
And I apologise. I'm not sure if that's a shock to anyone or we've now lost listeners. But,
yeah.
I was young. It was a long time ago. I knew better.
The money.
Knew better. Yeah, I did need the money. 2 young children.
Yeah.
Mouths to feed and all that. And as it happens, there was a guy I knew on the local property scene who, much to everyone's surprise, was actually elected then the sort of borough mayor.
Right.
They just do that, don't they? A mayor, you don't need any qualification, just some random person they seem to pick and go, oh, you seem like a nice lady fella. We're going to just put this stupid hat and coat on and...
bang.
Just wander around the borough, having your picture taken. Bit weird.
Fair enough. I don't know what what authority do they have as mayor? Is that just like...
They probably do. I mean, the ones in cities seem to have some authority, or at least they'd like to think they have some authority.
To get free pasties or something like.
I don't know. I think it's what's the word that I'm looking for? Where it's ceremonial. That's it. Yeah. It's a ceremonial position more than anything else.
Fair enough. Like the king.
Anyway, so this mayor, as he was then, we'll call him John, just for the sake of simplicity.
John Mayor, right? Yeah.
He asked me to join his. Every new mayor comes in. They have to set up a fundraising committee, made up of sort of local peoples, business owners, and that. And he asked me if I would join it, and I thought, okay, well, this seems like a good thing. He sold it to me on the back of it being good PR for my business.
Right.
Anyway, so went along to the first meeting. It was 11 a.m. Okay. Now, do I need to start you off on meetings?
Oh, I've lost count how many
okay.
I have. But,
so I, like yourself, do not enjoy a meeting. And the meetings I had at work, because I had complete control over it, it was like 15, 20 minutes every morning, and that was it. And we got shit done in that meeting. It was like, what are we doing? How are we doing it?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. What happened yesterday? And that was it. Done.
Yes.
So that was my experience of meetings. So I turned up at this one at 11 o'clock, and I presumed we'd be done by noon. So got there, 11 other members of this committee, right? Some people I vaguely knew, others I didn't, plus the mayor.
Right.
And then there was 2 other members of council staff. There was somebody from some other department, I don't know, finance or something, and like a secretarial PA person who was taking notes. So
right.
Those 2 were there. 45 minutes... we just sat around talking about each introductions. Literally was introductions.
God.
Okay. And then we got to the end of that and it was like, well, we're going to do an agenda overview. And then,
Yeah.
so this was getting on for 45, 50 minutes at this point, and the meeting hadn't actually started.
Oh my God.
When there was a knock on the door, and a man and a woman came in, dressed in these sort of purpley blue polo shirts, and then they proceeded to transfer trays of sandwiches and cakes and pastries to a table at the side of the room.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then flasks of tea and coffee. They were in and out maybe a dozen times. I mean, it was a fucking banquet. I mean, there was 15 people in that room.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. So we then had another break. We had a 45-minute break for lunch, and which probably about a quarter of this food was consumed.
Jesus.
And then we cracked on. I think I got back to the office about 3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So this is what happens with meetings. They're not meetings. They're excuses to
do nothing.
To do nothing, yeah, and pretend that you're doing something useful.
Completely.
Yeah.
So when I got back at some point before the end of the day, I received an email through from I'm assuming the poor woman who was stuck in the room with us taking notes, outlining the 16 other meetings that have been scheduled for the coming year.
No.
Okay, 16.
Oh no.
And at that point, it struck me, right? How much is this fucking costing?
Yeah. And,
Wouldn't it be better, cut out the middleman, have no meetings, and just give the fucking money you saved to charity?
Sandwiches, yeah.
I would have paid 500 quid not to go to another meeting.
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah.
It's just insane. And you think, is this guy, right, just basically making all of his meetings? Because I thought 11 o'clock's a weird time for a meeting anyway. I don't know. I'd like to get them out at the end of the day, beginning of the day. And I thought, maybe he's just doing this. He gets his lunch paid for every day, courtesy of the local taxpayer.
That sounds like a plan, yes. That could be it.
But it kind of set me off, really, because I started actually calculating how much all of this would cost. And
yeah.
I just thought there is no... Why would you spend your own money on this? If it was your money you were spending, would you get caterers, outside caterers in?
No, I mean, everyone would be made to bring your own sandwich or your own cup of tea or whatever, or alternate it between one person this week and one next, whatever. Right? But no, you wouldn't. I mean, it does make no... It's a fundraiser and it's costing money to run it, and it's all irrelevant bollocks anyway.
2 members of staff, plus the mayor. I don't know if he was on a salary, but
definitely, yeah.
Those 2 members of staff were certainly there, and don't know what they earned an hour, but 16 meetings, 3 hours, basically a couple of weeks worth of man hours, really. There, isn't there? And that's before all of the admin and God knows what else was going on. But I reckon quite comfortably we could have made a really big donation to charity if they'd have just said, but we're not going to do any of this stuff. We're just going to take the money we would have spunked on sandwiches and staff, given it to the charity, and said to all these poor bastards who had to... I don't know. I never went to another one. I bowed out. I said, I'm sorry. I didn't realise it was going to be so time intensive. Yeah. I mean, the sandwiches were nice and all, but because I thought, okay, maybe the sandwiches were just a nicety because they were taking up our time, and they felt that it was an obligation, a nice thing to do. But I was thinking, well, no, it wasn't, because the meeting didn't need to be so long that you had to have a fucking lunch break.
Yeah, no, that's it's self-serving, isn't it?
So yeah, exactly. I wasn't willing to be charitable, ironically, and then it's kind of dawned on me that actually this had nothing to do with actually making money for charity. This had just been it's opportunities to come up with these ideas for events that the mayor could then be seen at and photographed, and
100%,
the council could sort of every week there would be something that they could put in the local rag to I suppose it was early virtue signalling, if you like.
There you go. Yes, lovely. No, that's bollocks.
So I don't understand what's going on. Why do councils spunk our money like Ebenezer Scrooge on Christmas Day? I mean, it's who's accountable for that? And why is there a fucking head of Department of Value for Wank or whatever this individual's called?
I don't know what the value for money for other government services, or just like
into department. I'm assuming this is a thing that will go into another department,
right?
And let's call this guy Bob. I don't know his name, and he'll go in and he'll clap his hands and call around everyone and go, right, everyone. So can we save any money? And somebody will say, we could probably downgrade from PG Tips to Tetley.
Oh.
That might save us a couple of quid. Bob claps his hands. My work here is done. Fucks off to the next department. And he can then say, yes, we have saved money.
Yeah. Well, I know. So I thought that each department would have a budget anyway, and the chap or whatever who does that anyway. So why do we need another department to
I would say that governmental budgets will always expand to, and this is the thing, isn't it? All government departments want more and more money.
Yeah, of course they do.
None of them actually ever turn around and say, do you know what? What we want to be is the leanest, most efficient, most well-oiled department in government. No. Where are the badges for that? Where are the... And this is another topsy-turvy thing about government, is that they just want more and more money, but there's no motivation to save money. If you said to the head of every department, you get a big fuck-off bonus, right? So you don't need this guy being paid £250,000. You just say to the head of each department, if you save this amount of money, you and your team all get a chunk of cash.
Yes, that would be a better incentive, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Because that's what happens in the real world, in the private sector, doesn't it? Yeah. You know, if you're efficient, if you save the company money, make the company money, you get rewarded with a bonus of some sort. And I don't see why that can't be applied to the public sector. I suppose the optics of it don't look. Could people go, well, they're being paid bonuses just for doing their jobs, and but you know, human nature is what it is. I guess you do need some incentive to stop people wasting money.
Yeah. Well, there's the thing that, you know, every sort of workplace has got this thing. Like, if at the end of the year, if there's spare budget left, they're running around trying to figure out what to spend it on.
Yes,
because if you don't, then your next year's budget will be cut. But then you're thinking, like, well, if you didn't need that shit, it doesn't matter if your budget.
That's a good point, actually, isn't it? And I'm sure it's the same. There's this. It's an urban myth, maybe, that you see more roadworks done in, like, you know, February and March because councils have got to spend their budget.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as you say, it's a similar thing. They don't get it. There's just no joined up thinking with any of this, and I just don't understand why. If my mum was running the local council, I mean, she's dead, so that's not very likely, but if she'd have been running the council, she would have made every single employee account for every single penny. Yeah. And if anyone had wasted it, one thing that when you grow up and you're not very well off, you do not waste food. That is rule number one. If you sit at a table and you do not leave until every crumb has gone, and you can understand why. Yeah. Because, you know, every crumb of food has been eked out from a very, very modest budget.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my mum wouldn't put up with that shit, and she'd have actually made the fucking mayor stand there and eat every single sandwich that was left on that platter at the end of the meeting.
Damn right. I mean, at least give them to fucking homeless people, right? Take the sandwiches.
I don't know. Well, maybe they've got put in the staff room or something. Maybe
they're in the fridge for a week. No one saw them. And then they went curly, and then they threw them out.
All the egg and cress just left there to fester because no fucker's touching them. But I think genuinely frugality should be taught in schools. Yes. Because I think it's a life skill that would transform not just, you know, the kids, but generally society.
It would, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you're right that it used to be a much bigger thing, and now it feels like everything is designed to fail and break, and you can't fix it, or there's no skills. People don't have the skills to fix, like, you know, if your washing machine breaks, well, that's it, game over. You either have to call a fella and the fella won't come for weeks, so it's just easier to buy a new one. And that's
It's mad, isn't it?
Ridiculous.
I'm going to coin this wastage nation because I think that nicely encompasses everything. The whole throwaway mentality, the fact that, public services and that just waste money. And indeed, this goes into the corporate sector as well, because the bigger the company, the more the waste. So they're all guilty. But it's just because the individuals within those companies don't have frugality ingrained in them. I've always said, and I'm a political atheist, but I've always said that nobody should be allowed to serve in any government or even as an MP unless they've worked 1,000 hours in. I think I mentioned this before, right? Yeah. Because they need to understand that the people that they'll be working with won't have much money, and they will be working for minimum wage, and they might appreciate how every penny and every pound matters to some people, because I think that's the sort of mentality you need.
Yeah, definitely. You can't be disconnected from the real world and try.
We've gone very serious, haven't we?
Yeah. Well,
God, I'm sorry, everyone.
Life,
but
save money, fix your stuff.
Save money. And if you have kids, this will be the very last thing I say on this. And this is something my mum told me not long after my son was born. She said, if you say no to him more times than you say yes, you'll both be glad that you did that. And I thought that was profound at the time, and it's advice I've stuck to. So I would like to think that my kids have picked up on my frugality. I say frugality; other people call it tightness. Yeah, but fuck them.
Fair enough. Agree. And that's well raged.
Thank you.
All right. So I've made
What you got?
I made a silly thing, so I'm going to play a silly thing for you real quick.
Okay.
This is the final call for passengers on flight MR101 to Constantinople. Please proceed immediately to gate 398. This is the final boarding call for flight MR101. Thank you.
Oh dear, someone's got too much free time on their hands. That was very funny, actually.
I made that at lunchtime just for the crack. But so if you hadn't have guessed, my rage this episode is about airports, and not the actual flying, because we've already covered that in the last time, I think, but the actual airport.
This is going to be rich pickings, isn't it?
Yeah. So here's my hot take. I think that's what the kids are saying these days, the hot take. Airports are just bus stations with attitude. They
not
think,
good attitude either.
No, bad attitude. So they think they're so fucking important with all the security and the closed off areas and the special laws and passport control and all this crap. But it's just a bus station. Their buses happen to fly at 35,000 feet, but it doesn't matter. They're just buses. And yes, they're all so jumped up and, we're so important because this is an airport. Wow, okay. And I'm not complaining about the security. That's. I
was going to say, I'd rather that they didn't. That's one area where they didn't.
No, skimp. But they don't have to be arseholes about it. But no, it's not. It's not that you have to go through an X-ray. I don't mind all of that, right? And this year it's poignant because I'm flying again next week. This year I've done a lot of travelling. Much too much, and it's pissed me off a lot, right? So this was bound to happen, but here we are, right? So I've just listed a few things. This isn't like everything. I could probably go on all day, right? But these are a few things that just piss me off specifically.
Buckle up, listeners. This is going to be a long one. Yeah. If you're going on a 3-hour drive, don't worry about having to find another podcast, because I've got a feeling...
You could go.
We'll still be with you by the time you reach your destination.
We're already at an hour. So. All right. I'll try and be quick. So, first thing that freaks me out, right, is, and I mean, some people probably think I'm the weird one here, right? But you ever get on a flight, or you don't do that much, do you? But
Not a huge amount.
no. Well, if you've ever been to an airport, if anyone has, like 5 a.m,
Yes, I've done that. Yeah.
it's horrible, right? You've got up at arse o'clock. And your body isn't used to it, and it's all weird. But then you get through all of the dross and the security and the lines, and all of the crap that you have to walk 6 miles. But you get to the where the gate is, and where there's pubs inside the airport.
Yeah, Wetherspoons usually.
Yeah, and it's 5 a.m. Bear in mind, there's people sat there drinking pints. And I'm just like, how can your stomach accept it? Like Guinness.
One would assume they haven't been to bed. I mean, maybe there's that.
Hopefully, then I can understand it. But if you just got up and you're fucking downing pints of lager and Guinness, oh God, that is just brutal.
I have been in an airport at 5 a.m, but I was there because I'd been there, I think, since midnight or something, and I'd come straight from it was a arse end of a holiday.
Okay.
So I was still on it.
But these are in the departure lounge, right? So these people are just going on their trip, and they're sitting there downing pints. I'm like, fucking hell. So then you get to the actual gate, and there's a whole load of things happening at the gate, right? Well, in the airport terminal as well. There's these people. There's these. Do you know the neck pillow people? Do you know that? You know what I mean? There's these fucking neck. They always sell these neck pillows at the airport, right? And then, I mean, they're usually in all the stupid shops that, I don't really understand the need for these, right?
These are inflatable ones, or
they're either inflatable or they're just spongy or whatever. But yeah, the people, you buy your fucking neck pillow, and then, I don't know, maybe they just want to get the maximum use out of it, but they're wandering around in the terminal, flight nowhere near the flight, but they're fucking wearing these neck pillows. It just looks so stupid.
Well, you're assuming they don't wear them all the time.
That is a
They're
possibility.
literally all the time.
That is a possibility, yeah. Maybe they've got neck problems and they have to wear.
They all just, maybe every time you fly out, you happen to coincide with was it a convention of weak neck people or something? And they're doing their annual convention in wherever you happen to be flying to, or somewhere near. And that just could be it.
That would be exceptionally coincidental.
It would, yes, granted.
But yeah, possibility. But yeah, I think the neck pillow people are just fucking
neck pillow people.
You can wear it on the plane if you must, I suppose, but you don't wear it while you're walking around. Right. Anyway.
Imagine if they were carrying around pile cushions.
Yeah.
Do you think they'd be so
on your
overt
arse
about it?
Big, like toilets.
All me piles
stuck on your arse. It would be comfortable, I suppose, but just yeah. I mean, maybe they all have narcolepsy and they're just prone to fall asleep at the click of a finger. Yeah, I don't know.
Sorry, right, yes.
So then you got the refugee camps. Right, I mean, I don't know how early they got to their flight, right? But I've never had. I mean, I've been on delayed flights and stuff, right? But I've never been on one that's so delayed that I've had to basically build a camp. And a tent and pillows and and not just have a nap, but be completely asleep, and you've got your little barbecue set up and all of this stuff.
Well, I would say I was not aware of this concept until this was quite recent as well, as luck would have it. A family I know, I won't mention their names because they're fucking morons. They were going out on a flight at, I think, 7:30 in the morning, and they decided the best thing to do to make sure that they weren't late or caught in traffic was to get to the airport at 7 p.m. the night before.
Oh,
So essentially, they were 12 and a half hours in the airport.
Oh, that is stupid. And
They are, I did say they're morons. I mean, I wasn't exaggerating. They are actual morons.
Yeah.
If they're listening to this, I'm
sorry.
Well, you're a moron. I don't know what to say.
You don't, plan ahead. 12 hours though. So you see all these refugees camping around the gate, and just like, how long have you been there? Did you miss your flight last week and you're still waiting for the next one? Or
somebody waiting for a TWA flight or something?
Yeah, it's weird to me that there's always much too many people just lying on the floor, and just there's a sort of staging of that, right? If you're sat for a while, maybe you go and walk around for a bit, or maybe you sort of sit down a bit more comfy somewhere. But to be at the stage where you're absolutely fast asleep, crawled, and you've got coats thrown over you and stuff like that's, you're going for the hardcore. I think that at that point you should just get a hotel.
I am slightly envious of those people though, because I cannot sleep anywhere but my own actual bed.
Right. Yeah.
I really struggle. Even in a hotel bed, I'll
really
have to imbibe a lot of alcohol or something to eventually pass out. But don't you? People who can sleep on the flight itself, I'm always deeply envious of those people.
I find it hard too. I mean, I haven't got a neck pillow, so maybe that's why, right? But yeah, no, I couldn't. There's no way.
I mean, they do say masturbation does help.
They don't tend to want you to do that though in the middle of the flight.
Well, I meant in the toilet. I mean, I didn't actually mean in your seat.
Right. That's where I've been going wrong. Yeah.
Oh, that's why you're now banned from 9 different airlines.
Yes. So
they call him Wanky Adam. He's on a watch list. Sorry. Yes, I can't. I can't sleep on a flight with or without a wank.
All right. Okay. So then you got these are all different types of people, right? But then you got the ones who you're sitting at the gate waiting patiently. You're sitting there. You found maybe you got there a bit early, and you found a nice empty spot of chairs. They're not comfortable in any kind of way, but you found some empty chairs, and you're just sitting there chilling out, maybe listening to this podcast or similar. And then some bunch of fuckers come and sit right next to you. And they don't just sit there, right? I mean, if they just sat there, like there's other empty space, but they choose to fucking sit next to you. What is that about, number one?
Are these normally lads going on a holiday?
No, not necessarily. I find it's more like mums who've got millions of children. Or a group of women who are going on something, some sort of convention or whatever. But they don't just sit. They sit, then they establish their sort of realm with bags and coats and whatever, neck pillows. And then they start getting things out of bags and crinkling the bags. And then they get up and they go off to the toilet and they come back, and then somebody else will go, and they're just constantly walking. But like I've got my legs stretched out and they're passing me. Like every fucking time I have to pull my legs in, and they can't sit still. That's what the problem is. They can't fucking sit still, and they're making noise and they're talking, and like, why did you fucking sit next to me? And then you're going to be noisy and crinkly and getting up every 2 seconds. Just fucking wait and sit and shut up. God.
Oh, we've really gone. I think we've really gone close to the bone on our subjects this episode. They seem to be really drawing some ire.
Indeed.
I do wonder, though, whether you've just got not necessarily a problem with something specific, just a people problem.
Well, yeah, maybe. But we're all right. Well, then to bring it back to more airporty things, right? Well, these people don't tend to exist outside of the airport. That's the other thing. Actually, one other thing that I just thought of is I've often noticed that if you're wandering around an airport waiting for your stupid flight, it's always odd that there's an awful high number of people who seem like, I don't know, fancy or dressed up or overtly weird in some way. And that proportion seems to always be higher at the airport than it is in the city that you're coming from or going to. So, like, it's like all the weirdos are flying. They've got a really weird hat on, or they're dressed strange, or they're wearing a cape, or weird shoes, or just something outlandish and, you know, weird about
Could be
them.
French.
They could be that, yeah. Could be all these French people. Anyway, so priority boarding, right? This is absolutely the biggest fucking rip-off. I don't understand how anybody, you know, you it's like, what is it? You pay 10 quid extra, and now at the gate, you can stand in a different queue.
And surely the point is then you then have to sit on the plane for longer.
Well, but I mean, it's supposed to be to get you on first or something. But most of the time, I look at that line, and that queue is longer than the normal queue.
How can it be? If you're last in the line of priority boarding and first in the line of normal boarding,
yeah. But
there's literally you're stood next to each other more or less.
Exactly, and they've paid 10 quid to stand 4 feet to the left. You know,
but what benefit is there to being on the plane quicker?
It's no benefit whatsoever.
You're all going to be spending a lot of time on that plane.
Exactly.
So why the fuck would you want to be sat there a minute longer than absolutely necessary?
Exactly.
I'd be the last one on, first one off. Now, the other end.
That would if you could pay for that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nobody's allowed to leave their seat. You could do it in like some sort of lottery. Everyone gives some money in, or like an auction. Who's going to be 50 quid to get off this fucking plane first?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll give you 60.
Yeah. Oh, it's a bloodbath, isn't it, getting off the plane? But, you know, there's only one plane. You're not going to get to the city quicker by paying 10 quid.
I just thought, actually, Ryanair, I'm surprised that they would go for that, wouldn't they? The getting off auction.
Yeah, they would.
Oh, Michael O'Leary, he'd love that.
They would love that, yeah.
We jest about it, but, you know.
That's coming soon, too.
That could go before the Ministry of Value for Money, or whatever they're called. And, I can see that happening.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I would contemplate paying for that, right? Because, when you land, getting off that fucking plane is the most important thing in the world. Even if it's just a short flight, right? I've been on long flights where I've only survived by chewing my own leg off or something, right? But you just cannot wait to get the hell off that plane. And even then, you know you're going to be standing in another queue to go through. Oh,
yeah. You can run like the wind, and you know that there's going to be a succession of other queues.
Oh, yeah. And there's always another queue, but it doesn't matter. You just got to get off that fucking plane. And the people who won't stop farting, or the annoying kid who screamed the whole fucking way or whatever. But, yeah.
Or you sit next to somebody who's a bit talky.
Oh, that is the absolute pits. Yeah.
I think women have something called a resting bitch face. Are you aware of this phenomenon?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
And I think that works, but I don't think such a thing exists for a bloke.
Well, I used to have my... people used to tell me I used to have a fuck off zone. Which is
I suppose you could go for resting sex offender face. That would have the same effect, wouldn't it?
Christ. It definitely would, yeah. It might also get you dick chopped off or something.
You would definitely get caught in security on every fucking trip.
Yes.
We're very effy jeffy today, aren't we? I've noticed that. I think it's because it's the end of the day and we're feeling a bit heady.
Tired,
but these are particularly these are subjects that are close to our hearts.
Very rage-inducing, yeah.
I apologise on behalf of Adam and I if we are being excessively sweary.
Well, it's in the description, right?
If you've got a problem, please do write in to
the Ministry of Bollocks, Downing Street.
Adjacent to the Ministry for Money for Value for £250,000 a year. Thank you very much. Ka-ching.
Yes. Anyway.
Yes. Sorry.
Dear. So, I mean, I skipped over a couple of things here, right? But just to
No, carry on.
Keep going here. There's all these people who it seems like they've never been through security before, don't know what to do, despite there being huge signs everywhere. And I really, I feel for the guys who work at the security in an airport, right? Because they're standing there all day, saying the same thing over: take off your belt, put your keys, everything in the bag, put it on the thing, and yet everybody is like, "Oh, what do? I don't know what to do," and and then you've got these people who can't take off their belt or don't know how to tie shoelaces, can't understand that a laptop has to go on the thing instead of in your bag, or does it not? I don't know, but yeah, I think the airport people probably see the absolute worst side of everybody.
You can understand why they're a bit churlish, really, can't you? You have to put up with that shit every hour of every day.
I mean, and there's just this never-ending torrent of fuckwits who don't know how to.
How many times have you been in a queue for? And it's not necessarily limited to airports, where you're going towards the check-in, and then the person behind the counter will go, "Can I see your passport?" And or whatever it is. And then somebody will open their bag, right? And then they'll start running. And you think, you've been in a queue, right, for at least 5 minutes.
Why are you only doing this now? Yeah, you absolute... yes. And then...
Well curtailed there. But it's the same. I mean, back in the day when I used to use the normal checkouts in the supermarket... People would do that, and then they would start routing. Rather, they would be waiting for their turn on the conveyor belt, and then the person behind the thing would just start scanning. And at no point did it cross their mind to open their bag and get their card out or look for their club card or whatever it is.
No.
They've got to wait until the cashier said, "Can I have it? It's X," and they go, "Oh, just let me find my club card." Bollocks to the fact I've spent 10 minutes stood there and doing nothing, twiddling my thumbs. I could have got it out then, but why? Well, I can keep all these people behind me waiting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, why be prepared?
Bastards.
Speaking of that, there's always also the people who don't know how to scan a boarding pass, whether it's on their phone or a printout. They just can't seem to. Do you hold it? Do you put it here? Fucking idiot.
I said about a ministry of, not ministry, like a lessons in school for frugality.
Basic
we could
skills.
Couple that up with common sense, maybe.
I've always said common sense isn't actually very common.
No.
Yeah. Right. Look, we're going very long, right? So, a couple of quick things.
Yes.
I also think there's this weird phenomenon in the airports where especially Heathrow, where they have all these shops that are selling like extremely expensive handbags or watches, Rolex watches or gold stuff, I've just bought a 30 quid Ryanair flight or whatever. Why am I now buying a £700 bag? And there's these shops, they're so brightly lit, and there's like this painted lady serving, but they've got like 6 things on these shelves, and each thing is, 1,000 quid or whatever. And there's never anybody in there. And just like, who?
Can you imagine working in one of those shops? Because you must have no concept of time. Yeah. Because you're in this brightly lit box.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no daylight or anything, is there? So you've got no real concept of time, and they're open all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, more or less.
You'd be doing like the 2 a.m. to the 8 a.m. shift or something. I don't know, but
selling 500 quid bags, and surely nobody's buying that. Like, you're not gonna, if you're that rich that you buy that stuff, I don't think you're just impulse buying it at the airport, are you?
No,
surely.
But then why are they there?
Yeah.
Somebody must be buying it.
well,
Is it duty free? Is it like tax exempt or something like that?
Yeah.
So it's probably a bit cheaper than the high street.
Possibly.
Could be like that. I do remember there's always shops that sell big bars of Toblerone and
the Toblerone airport
Lindt.
chocolate. Yeah. How did Toblerone become airport chocolate? It's weird as well.
I don't mind the taste of Toblerone, but the shape of it is just every kind of wrong for me. It's just you're going to be losing teeth biting into that.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't want chocolate that I've got to use an actual piece of DIY tool to break. I don't want to be opening my toolbox to consume chocolate.
Chisel and hammer. Yeah.
Pair of pliers.
Yeah. So
sorry, I've interjected again.
I think this is the last thing I'm going to moan about, right? But no, it's two more things. I told you this at the time. I was in Chicago Airport not long ago, and I think this probably qualifies for the most expensive pint ever in history. Now, if you can beat this, then fair enough. But I paid, drum roll, $14.53 for a pint in Chicago Airport. That works out to roughly £11, and it wasn't a good pint. And
I mean, I've heard that 3 times now, and the shock is still not. It's still not dampened to any degree.
Just unbelievable, ridiculous. And of course, I didn't know that at the time of purchasing it, and it was only afterwards that they told me how much it was. And I was like, the fuck? But yeah, it's too late then. And
you're not getting plastered there, are you? You're not going on a bender.
No, you're not, unless you. I mean, it wasn't good. It was just. Anyway. So the last thing then is I find this weird, right? More than any. Well, it's not weird. I suppose it's what they're trying to force you into, is that there is this sort of stark contrast. And it's like when you're queuing for the security and everything, and the going through all the huge, long 300-mile treks to get to your gates and things. Those are like desolate war zones, and like just bare concrete, and it's nasty, and it might even be cold, or it's just horrible, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to the duty free, which is just, you just keep walking and you'll get there. And it transforms into this glitzy, gaudy decadence with the 800-pound fucking bags and the Rolex watches. And I'm like, what is happening? Oh, and the huge, the perfume stands and the booze, fags and everything. Just... So
I get. Do you know what it is? Right, I reckon if you wanted to use a parallel, it's like the difference between communism and consumerism.
Yes.
It's like, this is what communism's like. This is what consumerism's like.
Yes. Experience it all in your local airport. But it's you're sort of guided to this, out of the desolate communist era into the gaudy decadence. And, now I'm free. Now I can buy fags and booze. It's weird.
All of the world's vices.
Indeed. So look, airports, get your shit together. I think there's a lot of things here that could be better, don't need to be so awful. Yeah.
Well, teleportation, that would be better.
There you go. That would.
We wouldn't have to worry about any of this shit.
Yeah. So next week I have to get up at 4 a.m. to get my flight to London, and I'm not looking forward to that, but oh well.
Well, that's certainly fodder for the next episode.
Indeed. Right. Let's have a palate cleanse. Do you have
a happy ending?
Yeah, do you have a happy ending?
I do. Well, it's a sort of bittersweet ending, really. So this week, I've had a real problem writing over the last week or two. I keep coming up against roadblocks in my current book. I'm about 2/3 the way through. Anyway, it became increasingly apparent that I wasn't going to hit the deadline that I was hoping to, but either with my editor or my readers, because I said that this book should be available for Christmas. And I absolutely hate I did everything. The longer I left it, and it just puts pressure on, and it becomes more and more frustrating, because the more pressure you put yourself under, the harder it is to get the sort of the creative block unplugged. So you get in this sort of vicious spiral.
You get pissed
and in
off
the end,
with
I just
yourself,
had to concede defeat. So I put a post on my blog and just said, look, sorry everyone, but my brain's a bit knackered. I've written 18 novels back to back in 8 years. And I'm just a bit frazzled, really. So I'm going to need to sort of step back for a little bit before I can sort of push on and hopefully get the book out early in the new year.
Fair enough.
So I presumed that there would be a bit of disappointment, but and this is my happy ending, genuinely. Is the amount of goodwill and positive thoughts and overall loveliness was just, I don't want to sound too gushy, but it genuinely was something remarkable.
Nice.
I'm not Stephen King. I'm not even Dave King. Don't even know if he's an author, but I have a relatively modest readership. But I tell you something, it was... I think I could probably name most of the people that follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And every single person who sent me a message, an email, or posted a comment, this is my opportunity to say thank you, because honestly, that was such a boon, and it really did. I don't want this to sound too wanky, but genuinely did give me a boost. So I felt a lot better. A for getting it off my chest. That in itself was, it's like you can breathe for a second. You've removed that target.
Yes.
You're not suddenly running towards a brick wall.
Yes.
So I keep using these wall metaphors. So that was one bit. But then the flood of good-natured support was just, it was the icing on the cake. It was just amazing. And so I'm going to clip this bit up and just post it on my page, just so I can say formally thank you to everyone for their wonderful support. And that genuinely was a happy ending to that particular tale. And
for sure.
now I've had a day or two of just doing a bit of reading and just sort of letting my brain relax. Yeah, it's feeling a lot better.
Excellent. That's nice to hear. It's it's heartwarming to be. To know that people care, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
100%. This is the job, whether it's you working if you work from home, it's, even if you're communicating with other people, you're still on your own, really, aren't you? I mean, I don't speak to anyone for large chunks of the day, apart from the voices in my head. And
they won't shut the fuck up.
Oh no, it's when they don't when they do shut up, that's the problem. So it is nice to know that actually there are proper human beings out there who not only, will absorb what you do, but seem to appreciate it and enjoy it. So it's it's a good reminder that, money is one thing, but there are other reasons you're doing this, and it's because, people do look forward to what you do. So very happy with that indeed.
Excellent, lovely, good. So
what's got you grinning?
Well, I'm kind of the opposite of that. Well, not the opposite of that, but the opposite of the cause. So this year has been a bit of an arse for me, for many reasons. I won't go into the details, but it's been a lot of crap this year.
A long and winding road.
Yes, there you go. So, but yeah, anyway, I mean, I'm not really at the end of it, but long story short is that after literally 8 months where I couldn't write a single word, and I'm not as prolific as you. I've put out 7 books.
Well, you probably are at the moment.
Well, yeah. But I've been writing just a little bit less, 6 years, I think, and I've managed 7 books, right? And there's a couple of fails in there as well, but that didn't get released. But anyway, I'm working on book 8, and I have been for over a year. But as I say, 8 months of that, I literally wrote 0 words. And you know yourself, it's you just get more and more frustrated, and you open the thing and you just look at it and you think, oh God, and it's just horrible. It's not good. And so so I just deliberately then didn't look at it for ages and try and trigger something. But anyway, about a week and a bit ago, I think. I don't know exactly what happened, but I suddenly got the urge to go writing again. And since then, I've written every day, and seems to be going okay. And now I'm back on some sort of track, and I think that I'll also have a release early in the new year. So
You got your mojo back,
maybe,
or mojo is rekindled,
flowing or something. Yeah,
Yeah. You probably should stress that the 8 months of shitness you have not been medical related, just in case you get people. That's always people of our age. Once they get past 50, if somebody says, "Oh, it's been a bad year," and I'm not quite through it yet, and they think, "Oh, fucking hell," they immediately leap to something awful happening.
There was it wasn't that. It was just personal stuff that happened.
Shit.
Yeah, a lot of shit. Yeah. But yeah, so this is the sequel to my previous book, 22, 22, 23. This one is called 23, 23, 23.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah. And the suffix is power shift. So it's book 2 in the Toby Steele series. And I read it back before I started, and I was really, I liked it. It's going well. So, sometimes you look at things and you think, oh God, this is...
It's a nice feeling, that, isn't it? Where you actually think, oh, do you know what? There's actually something approaching a decent book here. You surprise yourself.
Yeah, like, did I write that? Fuck, that's not bad.
And then whatever you write subsequently is a turd. That's the one thing, isn't it? That it does take a little while to get back up to speed. It's why people may not notice this. Actually, I would hope they don't notice this, but when you read back the first draft of a book that you've written yourself, or anyone's first draft, the first 3 or 4 chapters are generally dog shit, because they're the ones where you haven't really got into your stride.
Into the flow, you don't know what's happening. Yeah.
So nowadays, I probably spend 80% of my editing time on the first 3 chapters and the last 3 chapters, because that's where all that's where you hook readers in, and this is how you hook them into the next book. So that's but it is hard to get back into that same momentum, isn't it? Picking up the story and the characters and just sort of going into I wouldn't say autopilot, but
no, absolutely, and hopefully it continues, and I get this done. I want to release it in January, but we'll see how it goes. I won't make any promises, right? But yeah, that would be nice.
No, don't. Trust me, that's a bad tactic.
Yeah, exactly. But it's been a long time since I put out a book, and it's not for want of trying. It's just life. Anyway.
Yeah, there we go. Back on the trail, and I very much enjoyed the fact. I can't remember what happened in it now because it was so long ago, but I do remember enjoying 22, 22, 22. So if you haven't read it, actually, now would probably be a good time. And if you're a slow reader, by the time you finish it, Adam will have the next instalment lined up.
Absolutely. And there's an audiobook as well if you want to read that.
Oh, even better. There you go.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so I think that's us, isn't it?
Have we gone long again?
We have gone a little bit long, yeah. But, people
are getting a lot of podcasts for their money, aren't they? We do deliver, I think, in terms of...
For their nothing, yeah. So
listen, Byrook. See, I remembered that. I didn't even reference my cheat sheet there. Has got 46 minutes now for each of his £5 coffees. So I hope Byrook that you found this. You feel that you've had your money's worth.
I reckon that's so if you would like, I think actually I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but I thought that some people might wish to donate and not have their roast.
Yes.
And maybe you don't want to be embarrassed, or
maybe you want to be anonymous. Maybe you don't want anyone to know that you listen to this shit.
Yeah, exactly, or waste money on this sort of rubbish, but but so I believe, I don't know if there's an option.
No, there is. There's no option. So, but if you don't want a roasting, when you make a donation, you can just say, Please don't. You can either be anonymous, which in case we can't roast you anyway, because that won't be much fun, or just put in there, happy to donate, no roasting required.
That's it. Yeah. So you can choose to donate just because you want us to keep doing this. I mean, not that we, this isn't really a part of our income, was it? But it does cost a lot of money.
God, we'd be in deep shit. You were talking about that 20p earlier.
Yeah.
If this was our income, that 20p would be tomorrow's dinner.
Yeah. Scratching around for, you might even eat a wasabi Kit Kat. Be that
Absolutely not.
Right at the end of the barrel. Okay. buymeacoffee.com/middle-raised if you would like to show your appreciation. Follow us on socials, say hello if you want to, search for Middle Raged and spread the word. Share the show reel video audio clip thingy. I think it's quite funny.
It's very good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, but, so
I am biased, I suppose.
But let us know if you think it's funny or not. And
equally, if you have any, if you do discover any people with amusing names.
Oh yeah. Testicle.
If you're listening to Testicle, I don't know what we can say really. Sorry, I guess. But you must have this on a nearly daily basis. You must ring up people and they say, "What's your name?" And then you say Testicle. They must be people. You must have a situation where people either don't believe you or suddenly have to stand back from the phone because they've got something in their throat.
Definitely. I don't understand how you find these people, but that's probably a trade secret, right? But
yes, we can't. Yeah, but see, I passed it down from father to daughter.
Fair enough. Well, she learnt that lesson well, so very good.
Indeed. I'm very proud of her.
Excellent. Right. Until the next time, keep raging.
Indeed.